Hello, hello, good people. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Make America Think Again with Shauna Vaughn. Thank you all for being here. Housekeeping first. Let's hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed to the channel. Also, like and share any videos that pique your interest or invoke some sort of conversation you think, possibly potentially between you and friends, family members, etc. Make sure you are liking and sharing the videos. Let's bring more folks to the page. And then also down below, you have the correct spelling of my name. You have my IG information. I do post political information all throughout the week, all throughout the day. So please make sure that you're checking my IG or go ahead and follow me over there in IG so you can be notified whenever I post anything. And then lastly, you have my Cash App, $11 1111 Oracle. And if you'd like to bless a sister or bless the channel, bless the channel. Bless the sister. It'll be greatly appreciated. Okay, today we got to do some updates and I have some new information for you. So Karmelo, Nolan, and Corey. I'm going to start with Karmelo because we don't have as much information on him as the other two young men, but there are court dates for Karmelo. So Karmelo Anthony, August 19th, the court date for his motion, for his hearing for a motion to recuse. Remember, the current judge or the previous judge said he was not going to recuse himself. So then the appeal was sent to another judge. And now this judge has said, okay, I'll hold a hearing on this so you can state your case as to why you feel this judge needs to recuse himself from the case. So that's August 19th. Then on August 20th is the court date to have a hearing for a motion for a new trial. Okay, so you could have that still the recusal of the judge doesn't happen or go through, but he could be granted a new trial. Now, would that make much sense? I don't think so. Or would it work to Karmelo's Anthony's advantage? I don't think so in this moment. So we actually want both to happen. We want him to be granted a new trial and also a new judge. So that's what I'm going to be rooting, praying for. But those are the dates, August 19th and August 20th for Karmelo Anthony. Now, a new case that we have that happened this week, Corey Ruiz. So if you don't know, Corey Ruiz was murdered, gunned down, point blank in cold blood in the middle of the street in Madison, Wisconsin by a police officer. The video has circulated all over social media. I'm quite sure the majority of you have seen it by now, but if you have not, Corey Ruiz was, for whatever reason, fleeing the police. I don't have that information. Fleeing the police on a bicycle. Okay, so this is a grown man. I've been given that age range between 30 and 40. Different reportings have said different numbers, so I'm going to just say between 30 and 40, who was literally on a bicycle. And he gets pulled off of the bike by these officers. There were a total of 4 officers on him. He was pepper sprayed by one officer. And before that could even really take effect, in my opinion, you see him gunned down. Now, what is not clear in the video, but what has been stated by this police officer, his name has not been released, he stated that he was stabbed or cut by the knife that Corey Ruiz had. And so I guess from that small injury, he felt like his life was threatened and he shot him, according to this officer. He shot him in the head, point blank, 3 times to the face. He was shot. So another one. Yet another one. And here's the thing. I am so tired of doing the hashtag justice for whomever, justice for whomever, justice for Ahmaud Arbery, justice for Breonna Taylor, justice for Nolan. You know, we don't know what happened to Nolan Wells, and justice for Corey Ruiz now. There have just been so many, justice for Sandra Bland, justice for Tamir Rice. Like there just have been so many, and I'm so tired and exhausted of using that hashtag. I wish it was no longer necessary. And I'm going to get to another point, but I want to go over the Nolan information before I get to that point. So we did see a press conference with attorney Ben Crump and the family, Corey Ruiz's family. His mother tried to speak. She couldn't get through it. His sister spoke, and then the person that I saw that spoke most eloquently and spoke to my heart and broke my heart was his daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, just talking about how she woke up and how she thought it was just going to be a regular day and how she called her cousin. And then she gets this news that her father is dead. And at the age of 13, you know, embarking on a new school year that's coming up, and how she's going, I would assume she must be going to her freshman year in high school, and how she's going to be going to a new school, new grade, and her father's no longer here. And how she wished she would have just had a longer conversation with her father the day before, when she talked to him. So it was just heartbreaking. And it makes no sense to me why a person who was trying to flee on a bicycle, yes, he had a knife, and maybe he was, I don't know what he was even accused of. I don't even know why he was fleeing. Um, but there's no reason why he should be deceased right now. I don't care what that is. Cops are not judge and jury. They are not. They are supposed to apprehend the person so the person can go to court and go in front of a judge and a jury. So what we have heard from the police chief thus far is that this officer is on administrative leave, and that they have opened a homicide investigation. That's only one positive thing I can tell you from this report, is that they're actually looking at it as a homicide. Also, I will tell you this. Protesters came into that presser, or the first press conference that he had, the police chief, and they took over. They took over. They took the mic and took over. So that clearly let them know in Madison, Wisconsin, the public is not playing with them. Because I believe just recently, maybe last year sometime, there was another person who died because of police brutality. So these folks in Madison are not playing. They have been protesting every night since this incident went down. Matter of fact, they took to the streets immediately after, went downtown. There was some sort of concert in front of the city hall. They shut that down. Actually, I'm not going to say they shut that down. The orchestra, or the leader of the orchestra, he agreed with them that it should not move forward. And so he and the musicians decided that they were going to come together in unity with the protesters and just shut it down. They were not going to have the concert for that night, which I thought was so commendable. So that's what's happening in Madison, Wisconsin right now. Now, let's move on to Nolan Wells. This past week, we had a lot of information on the Nolan Wells case. First of all, the autopsy, the second autopsy that was ordered by Ben Crump's office and paid for or taken care of by Colin Kaepernick. We did receive a report in regards to that autopsy. The two key things that you need to take from that autopsy is this doctor, the second doctor, found that there was, and I want to get the verbiage right, red discoloration in the occipital region, which is the lower back of the head or the brain. And, found that to be inconclusive. They didn't have enough information, but they did want to indicate that there was red discoloration in the occipital region of the brain. I'm going to say, just because of my knowledge in regards to the brain, psychology is my expertise, it would appear to me that there was some blow to the head. When this blow to the head took place, we don't know. We don't even know if for sure it was a blow to the head. But that's what I can deduce from this information. The other information we received from this doctor is that the neck was not included with Nolan's remains. So this doctor was not able to rule out asphyxiation, any type of strangulation, any damage to the throat that would have caused Nolan Wells to pass away. So apparently the first ME still has Nolan's organs and the neck. That's the information that we got from the autopsy. So still inconclusive. And I will add this note. In Ocean Springs, Mississippi, the DA, she did a little posting or something, and she said still the ME there who conducted the first autopsy, their report will not be released until after it goes in front of a grand jury. Okay, so there's that. So we still don't have the information about what happened with the neck, any bones broken in the neck or anything like that that would lead one or a doctor to believe that there was any type of suffocation, asphyxiation, any type of strangulation occurring to Nolan Wells. Okay, so we have that, the autopsy information. Then this week, or actually I think it was filmed before this week, it was released the day after the autopsy information was provided by Ben Crump. A young man who his name is Warren. He went on a podcast of, in my opinion, a coon. This is a Black man who has stated previously that slavery was a better time for Black folks. So he is known to me and will always be known to me as a coon. And this is the person's podcast that this Warren individual, out of all the podcasts in the world, he chose to go on the Coons podcast. Okay. Let me say this. There is a playbook, a historic playbook that has played out over centuries, especially with slavery. This is the same playbook. Get the coon or get the traitor out of the Black folks that you can get them to get all the rest of the Black folks, or they thought they could get all the rest of Black folks in line because they have control of the coon. Okay. The one individual that's going to get all the other Black folks in line or on the same page or agenda, etc. We are in 2026, and these people are still trying to use the same tired playbook. This is how to kill a Negro and get away with it 101. That's what we saw in front of our eyes. So number one, for me, the fact that Warren chose to go on this Coons podcast, that told me all I need to know. I didn't even need to hear a word that Warren had to say. But I'm glad I did, because Warren gave us some other information. So Warren goes on to say that he's known Nolan since elementary school. He said that we were brothers, but he's never been to Warren's house. You're so close that you consider yourselves, or considered yourselves, brothers. You considered yourself his brother. You've known him since elementary school, but not only have you not been to his house, his parents have already said they don't know y'all. They don't know this set of friends. that well. Like they know of them, like, Nolan has probably spoken about them, but they haven't, weren't admitted. He has not been to their home. So that let me know y'all weren't brothers. Y'all weren't brothers. Were you even friends? I've been playing this song all week, Smiling Faces. Hold on. Smiling Faces, sometimes I believe, is the full name of the song title. Yeah, Smiling Faces Sometimes. And basically it says smiling faces, they're smiling in your face. Sometimes they're gonna lie, sometimes they're gonna, do all these things behind your back. Look the song up. You'll get what I'm saying. So he claims to have known him for so long, called him brother, but he's never been to his house. He used this coon as a platform. And then also we have information from audio that was released from that day. Where's the audio information? So there was audio released from that day from the boat. They called in for a tow. Okay, so this audio is floating around social media. I'm not putting it here because I don't want YouTube to flag anything and prevent this video from being posted. But there's audio from the call going in to this boat towing service. And you can clearly tell the individual who called in, I'm going to use the word compromised. I don't know if that was alcohol. I don't know if that was drugs. I don't know if that was just fully distracted for some reason. I don't know if this person was trying to say certain things and not say certain things, but clearly compromised in some sort of way, this individual, because the person on the other end, the woman, had to keep asking the same questions. She had to keep rewording the same question to get the information out of this individual. But clearly what this individual said was that there were seven live breathing bodies on the boat. And the reason I'm saying this is, and the reason why it had to be said this way, is because the operator had to ask this question several different ways, several different times, for the individual on the phone to understand, I'm asking you how many human beings on the boat, damn it, because he wasn't getting it. So that's why I say he was compromised in some sort of way, but also distracted, because you can hear this background audio as well. So people have now separated the background audio from the phone call, and you hear things actually before the operator picks up and then throughout the phone call where it sounds like someone saying, Nolan, wake up, Nolan. Someone else saying, is he dead? And then someone yelling, Nolan. So now, this could be our brains wishful thinking and wanting to hear this. So I'm hoping that now that Ben Crump has this information, they have their audio people on it so we can clearly hear what's going on in this background information, background conversation. But another thing that is out there that coincides with this voice audio, the voice call ends with the young man confirming that there are 7 breathing bodies on the boat, meaning 7 human beings are on the boat. And there's also a picture, a photo that has come out just yesterday. And on the boat, you can count 7 bodies, one of which I'm not going to say appears to be Nolan. I'm going to say appears to be Black. I'm going to put it that way, because all the other people clearly are white. This person is of darker skin color. It's too blurry for me to say for sure this is Nolan. But this person appears to be, I want to say, still not having the shirt on, bare chest, and has a girl on his lap. I'm going to pull up this photo so I can tell you exactly what I'm seeing. Yeah, yeah, no shirt on, um, darker skin color. There's a young lady sitting on his lap, or this person is grabbing a young lady. There are two young men on the back of the boat, and or wait, there's two individuals. I can't tell what that far individual, their gender is, and then you have three um, young men at the front of the boat. So there's new photo. A new photo has been released, and there's audio that has been released. So more clues are coming out. Um, like I said, Warren going to this, I'm not trying to give him any credit. This officer, I think he calls himself officer or sheriff something. This coon, going to this coon, that initially told me all I needed to know. But then there were so many discrepancies in what Warren was saying in the bits and pieces that I've watched of this video. Like I said, I'm not trying to give this individual any props or credits. I wasn't even trying to watch the full video. But the fact that the clips that I have seen, that Warren has said, oh, we're so close, but you've never been to my house. The parents don't know you, but that's your brother since elementary school? Come on now. Come on. And now we have audio, and now we have a new picture. So, hey, stay tuned. I believe that the chips are falling. The information is trickling down. I hope that one of these young people just becomes really brave and just steps up and says what happens. It or happened. It might not be as nefarious as some of us are thinking. It could have been an accident. It could have been a fall. If we're just talking about, the information that was provided about the redness in the back of the head. We don't know. And the thing is, we don't know because people keep covering up shit. They're saying this photo at the pool party was on this date, but no. It shows up that it was on July 5th. But why are y'all saying it was last weekend? They're saying that different people were different places. You had a problem with giving his keys and his phone back. Like, there's so many things that aren't matching up. And if this was a simple accident, boys, fight. Look, Carmelo Anthony's case. Look at Carmelo Anthony's case. So as more information comes out, I will let you know, but that's the latest that I have on the Nolan Wells case. That's new information that the Ruiz case is brand new. And then Karmelo, we probably won't have any more information on Karmelo until August. Okay. But here's the last thing I wanted to say. With all this shit going down, this is not all that I've seen this week. This is not all that I've seen this week. I've seen some crazy shit. I've seen some really emboldened racists. I've seen some really, really emboldened pedos or sex offenders. I've seen some crazy icy folks pulling up to a house with a damn armored truck with it looks like a battering ram on the front of it. Like, there's so much crazy shit happening in this country right now. And I believe, number one, everybody be safe, everybody be vigilant, okay? But number two, I believe that the revolution needs to be televised. Not what we plan to do, but what happens and unfolds. I believe that it needs to be televised. And you know what? I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna put this in a totally different video because I think that this is so important that we need to have this conversation. And I want to separate these cases from this information that I want to share with you. And I don't want this video to be too long. So on the other side, I'm going to talk about the revolution being televised and why.